Have you ever found yourself caught up in a pointless argument, wasting your energy on people who aren't listening? Do you feel like the older you get, the more you need to protect your peace, but you're unsure how to navigate the chaos around you? If you've ever wondered how to handle certain situations where staying silent or pretending to be less capable could work in your favor, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you 7 powerful situations where pretending to be stupid can be the wisest move you can make. Whether it's dealing with arrogant people, avoiding manipulators, or simply preserving your peace from unnecessary conflict, the strategies I'm about to discuss will save you time, energy, and frustration. By the end of this video, you'll understand the art of selective silence, and how knowing when to hold back is one of the greatest tools for maintaining control over your life. So, if you're tired of engaging in every fight or defending your intelligence unnecessarily, stay with me until the end. I'll show you how to embrace your inner wisdom without saying a word. Trust me, this might be the most liberating thing you'll learn today. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Dealing with the arrogant. Dealing with arrogance is a challenge that many of us face at some point in our lives, and it can be incredibly draining, both mentally and emotionally. Some people seem to believe they know everything, people who have a constant need to prove their superiority to others. It's as if they're driven by an insatiable hunger for validation, always seeking ways to assert their dominance in every conversation or situation. It's exhausting trying to keep up with their inflated egos, their constant need to be right, and their tendency to dismiss the thoughts, opinions, or feelings of anyone who doesn't agree with them. In my own experiences, I've found that the best way to deal with such people is often to say nothing at all. Silence, in many cases, can be the most powerful weapon in your arsenal. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially in a world where we're constantly encouraged to speak our minds, stand our ground, and defend ourselves. But I've come to realize that engaging with someone only interested in asserting their superiority rarely leads to anything positive. These individuals thrive on conflict, on the chaos of heated arguments, and on the power they feel when they manage to corner others with their words. If you meet their arrogance with an argument of your own, you're only playing into their game. You're feeding their desire for control, and ultimately, you're giving them more power over your emotions than they deserve. It's a cycle of negativity that, in my experience, does nothing but drain both parties, leaving no room for meaningful dialogue or connection. When you choose to remain silent in the face of arrogance, you're not backing down or giving up. On the contrary, you're demonstrating strength and wisdom. I've learned that sometimes, the best response is no response at all. Let them believe they're right. Let them keep talking. Their need to dominate the conversation is often a reflection of their deep insecurities. It's a way for them to mask their vulnerability, to convince themselves that they are superior, when deep down, they may be questioning their worth. It's heartbreaking to see someone so deeply insecure that they feel the need to put others down to lift themselves. But the sad truth is that people who are truly confident in themselves don't need to constantly prove it to the world. The more you feed their arrogance with resistance or argument, the more they feel validated in their behavior. By choosing silence, we remove the opportunity for them to escalate the situation. We take away the ammunition they so desperately crave, and instead of feeding into their emotional fire, we allow them to simmer down on their own. It's like watching someone in a storm who keeps trying to push through the rain and the wind. If we stand firm, rooted in our peace, they eventually tire themselves out. I've witnessed this firsthand in so many interactions. When someone tries to dominate the conversation and I choose not to engage, they often end up growing frustrated, even confused. They can't figure out why their usual tactics aren't working. Their inner need to feel superior goes unmet, and that discomfort often causes them to falter. In those moments, they might question themselves, even if they don't fully understand why. It's important to remember, though, that we should never seek to humiliate or belittle these individuals. Arrogance is often a defense mechanism, a shield that hides their fear, their shame, or their feelings of inadequacy. And while it can be tempting to strike back, to try and make them see the error of their ways, I've learned that doing so rarely leads to anything productive. It usually only reinforces the cycle of negativity. It's not our job to change them, but to protect our emotional well-being. We must remember that when we engage with someone's arrogance, we risk losing our peace of mind. So, instead of participating in their drama, it's much healthier to step back, remain grounded, and let them fight their battles in their minds. In the end, it's about recognizing the deeper truth behind the arrogance. These individuals are often deeply afraid. They're afraid of being seen as weak, afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of being exposed for who they truly are. The louder they become, the more you realize that their outbursts are a reflection of their inner turmoil. I believe it's important to acknowledge this, but also to accept that we can't fix their wounds. What we can do, however, is not let their insecurities invade our peace. We can choose not to engage in battles that serve no purpose and that will only leave both parties feeling empty. When we remain calm, grounded, and undisturbed by the noise around us, we regain control over our own emotions and experiences. We stop feeding the fire of arrogance with our resistance and, instead, allow those who are driven by insecurity to come to terms with their feelings, in their own time. It's not our responsibility to solve their inner struggles, but it is our responsibility to protect our peace and well-being. And sometimes, the best way to do that is to remain silent, to let them speak, and to hold steadfast in our belief that we don't need to engage in every battle, especially when it's not our fight. 2. Handling manipulators. There's a harsh reality we all must face at some point. Some people, despite their outward appearance or the sweet words they may speak, will try to manipulate you for their selfish purposes. These individuals, often cunning and clever, do not have your best interests at heart. Instead, they are testing the waters, pushing your boundaries, and probing for any opening where they can take advantage of your time, emotions, or resources. It's disheartening, but true. They will try to see how far they can stretch you, how much they can make you bend, and how little you will demand in return for your kindness or loyalty. What makes their manipulation even more insidious is how they disguise their intentions. They may wrap their exploitation in the cloak of kindness or feign a sense of urgency, pretending to be in dire need of help or support. The way they operate can leave you confused, doubting yourself and questioning whether you're being too harsh. They often act as if they are doing something for you, but in reality, they are only testing your limits to see what they can get away with. And because this behavior is so cloaked in deceit, it's easy to feel guilty, to question if maybe you are misunderstanding their motives or if you should give them another chance. But deep down, you'll know when something feels off, even if the manipulation is subtle. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. When you are faced with someone like this, it's essential to understand that this is not just a minor inconvenience. It's a matter of protecting your peace, your emotional health, and your time. And the best way to defend yourself from their manipulation is to stay calm, composed, and unwavering. Instead of giving in to the urge to react emotionally or to feel guilty for not helping them, it's important to act with quiet strength. When you pretend to be unaware or naive about their intentions, you effectively disarm them. They rely on your reaction to continue their game, but when they see that you remain unshaken, they begin to lose their grip. The key here is not to react. By holding your ground, you show them that you're not someone they can easily sway. They may try a variety of tactics: guilt-tripping, playing on your emotions, pretending to need something they don't, but none of that will work if you remain calm and consistent. Their manipulation thrives on your emotions, and when you refuse to give them the reaction they seek, they lose their power over you. It's as if their tactics lose all their steam, and they are left trying to maneuver in a game they can no longer play. It's important to remember that you are not required to bend to anyone's will, especially if it compromises your well-being or sense of peace. You are worthy of respect, and your time, energy, and love are precious. Manipulators will only succeed if you allow them to. If you give them the satisfaction of seeing you bend to their whims, even if it feels like you're being nice or accommodating in the moment. But in the end, it's not kindness to allow someone to use you for their gain. It's self-betrayal. You deserve better than to be someone's tool, to be used as a means to an end for someone else's agenda. By refusing to show them any signs that they've crossed a line, you take away their power. They may try to test you again, they may attempt to appeal to your kindness, but the truth is that over time, they'll learn that they can't manipulate you. They'll realize that you are someone who understands their worth and is unwilling to let anyone take advantage of it. Your boundaries are not negotiable, and you do not need to feel guilty for protecting them. Stand firm in your self-respect. Don't allow people to make you feel like you owe them your time or energy. Trust your instincts. They will tell you when something isn't right. And when you refuse to engage in their manipulation, you will feel a sense of empowerment that comes from taking control of your own life. You will no longer be an easy target for those who seek to use others for their benefit. The more you stand your ground, the stronger you will become, and the less power manipulators will have in your life. And that, my friend, is the ultimate victory. 3. Avoiding envy and jealousy. Envy is a profoundly destructive emotion, one that can slowly chip away at the bonds we share with others and distort our perceptions of the world around us. It is the silent killer of relationships, often creeping in unnoticed and spreading like an infection until it begins to impact everything it touches. The truth is, envy doesn't just harm the person who feels it, it harms everyone in its vicinity. When others feel threatened by your success, achievements, or even your unique talents, they may quietly resent you or, worse, try to undermine you in subtle ways. It's an emotion that can disguise itself as admiration or praise while hiding a layer of bitterness underneath. What often starts as harmless feelings of insecurity can quickly grow into a full-blown desire to see you fail, or worse, an unhealthy obsession with bringing you down to their level of dissatisfaction. I've seen this firsthand in both personal and professional settings. How someone's jealousy can manifest in snide remarks, backhanded compliments, or even passive-aggressive behavior. It's not always easy to detect at first, and often the person being targeted has no idea they are even the object of such envy. But as time passes, the tension becomes harder to ignore, and the cracks in relationships widen. The worst part is that envy is often not about anything you've done to provoke it. It's about the insecurities and feelings of inadequacy within the person harboring it. People who are not at peace with themselves often struggle to find joy in others' happiness, success, or growth, which is truly tragic. From my perspective, there is a better way, a path of humility and grace that not only helps avoid the pitfalls of envy but also creates an atmosphere of harmony. Rather than flaunting your intelligence, talents, or achievements to gain validation or approval, why not allow others the space to feel safe and unthreatened by your presence? There is a profound strength in allowing others to underestimate you, in choosing not to broadcast your every success or strength. When we embrace this quiet confidence, it does not mean we are hiding who we are or diminishing our worth. It means we are protecting ourselves and our relationships from unnecessary tension. People who don't feel the need to constantly compare themselves to others are more likely to approach life with an open heart, free from the toxic weight of competition. By not drawing attention to our successes or intelligence, we create a dynamic where there is no need to compete or outdo one another. There is no room for jealousy to take root, and the relationships we build are based on authenticity rather than comparison. This doesn't mean we don't celebrate our victories or achievements. It simply means we do so in a way that does not make others feel inferior. When you can genuinely let go of the need to be the best in the room, it is liberating. You find that your relationships become less about proving yourself and more about genuinely connecting with others. It's a delicate balance between being proud of your accomplishments and being sensitive to the impact they may have on those around you. One thing I have learned through my own experiences is that envy often breeds a sense of isolation. It becomes this invisible barrier that prevents people from truly supporting one another, as they're too focused on their own perceived lack. This is where I believe we need to shift our mindset. By letting go of the desire to flaunt or compete, we create more room for empathy, kindness, and support. It is heartbreaking to witness how envy can ruin even the most promising relationships, where one person's growth becomes the other's burden to carry. I've watched how jealousy can warp people's perceptions, turning something as simple as a compliment or a congratulatory word into a battle of egos. Why should we allow that kind of negativity to poison our interactions when we have the power to do the opposite? By letting others underestimate us, we take away the fuel that feeds envy, and in return, we pave the way for more peaceful, supportive relationships. It's an act of generosity, both to ourselves and to others, because it takes the pressure off the comparison game. Let people see you for who you truly are, not just for the titles you've earned or the successes you've achieved. In doing so, you free both yourself and others from the chains of competition and resentment. This may seem like a small shift, but it has the potential to transform the way we interact with the world. It allows us to step into our full potential while creating space for others to feel safe, accepted, and, above all, valued, not for what they have or haven't achieved, but for who they truly are. 4. Dealing with the ignorant. Dealing with ignorance can be one of the most emotionally taxing and frustrating experiences we endure in life. It's not just about engaging with someone who holds a different opinion or perspective. It's about confronting a mindset that is so deeply ingrained that it's almost impossible to shift. Some people resist learning new things not because they can't understand, but because their beliefs have become entwined with their identity. To them, their beliefs are not merely opinions or thoughts. They are the very foundation of who they are, defining their existence and sense of self. Changing these beliefs would feel like unraveling the core of their identity, something far too frightening to entertain. The truth is, for many, growth is an uncomfortable and unsettling process. It's much easier to stay anchored to old, familiar ideas, even if those ideas are based on falsehoods or misinformation. There is a psychological comfort in certainty, even if that certainty is rooted in ignorance. This need for security often trumps the desire for knowledge or understanding, as the unfamiliar feels like a threat to the stability they've worked so hard to build. In their world, holding on to outdated ideas, even when they know deep down they're wrong, provides them with a sense of control over a world that feels increasingly unpredictable. This mindset can make conversations with such individuals incredibly difficult and emotionally draining. You might try to present facts, offer a different perspective, or share personal experiences that challenge their worldview, but it often feels like talking to a brick wall. They'll continue to reject anything that doesn't align with their narrow view, not because they are unintelligent, but because their ego is so tightly bound to their beliefs that any attempt to shift them is met with resistance and denial. The more you try to prove them wrong, the more they double down on their misconceptions, retreating further into their comfort zone. And at that moment, it becomes painfully clear that no matter how right you are, it's an exercise in futility. And here's the heartbreaking part. It can be so tempting to engage, to prove a point, to win the argument. There's this internal drive that pushes us to correct what we know is wrong, to help others see the truth that seems so obvious to us. We feel that if only they would listen, if only they could understand, everything would make sense. But the reality is that constantly engaging in these battles only serves to exhaust our emotional energy and mental clarity. It's a battle we cannot win, and it's a battle that often leaves us feeling defeated, frustrated, and emotionally drained. In these situations, it can be the wisest and most self-preserving choice to simply step away. Let them hold on to their misconceptions and let them live in their ignorance, even if it feels like a betrayal of your sense of justice. You might feel the pull of righteousness, the need to correct them, but sometimes walking away is the most powerful act of self-care you can perform. You don't need to fight every battle, especially when you know it will only bring you pain and frustration. The emotional toll of constantly trying to change someone's mind can wear you down, and in the end, you're not just battling their ignorance, you're battling your peace of mind. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Pretending indifference, or even feigning ignorance, might seem like you're giving up, but in reality, it's a conscious decision to protect your own heart. You recognize that their ignorance doesn't have to define your reality. You are choosing not to let their closed-mindedness seep into your soul. In those moments, you are not surrendering. You are claiming back your emotional energy, your sense of calm, and your inner peace. By stepping away, you affirm that you do not need the approval or validation of others to be at peace with yourself. You are freeing yourself from the toxic grip of their negativity, and that is not a form of defeat. It's an act of strength and wisdom. In the grand scheme of life, there will always be people who cling to their ignorance, refusing to evolve or understand the truth. And as painful as it may be, we must sometimes accept that we can't change them. But what we can change is how we respond. We have the power to decide where we invest our time and energy. We have the right to preserve our emotional well-being by choosing not to engage in fruitless battles. It's not about being passive, it's about being selective in the battles we fight. And sometimes, the most empowering choice is to walk away and let them be. Let them live in their misconceptions, while we move forward, armed with the knowledge that our peace is worth more than any argument we could win. 5. Responding to unnecessary criticism. Responding to unnecessary criticism can often feel like an emotional weight that drags you down, leaving you frustrated and drained. It's a challenging experience, especially when you realize that the criticism being thrown your way isn't about something you've done wrong or a genuine mistake on your part. In many cases, people criticize you not because of any fault of yours, but because they feel the need to boost their sense of superiority. It's as if they're looking for a way to diminish you so they can feel better about themselves. And the most unfortunate part is that their attacks often aren't even based on reason, truth, or logic. They come from a place of insecurity, jealousy, or a desire to project their issues onto you. What makes it even more complicated is that these kinds of criticisms aren't always rooted in any kind of constructive feedback. Instead, they're meant to provoke, to get under your skin, to elicit a reaction. And that's exactly what they want, your response. In their mind, it doesn't matter whether the response is positive or negative, as long as it's something that feeds their need for attention or validation. When people attack you in this way, their aim isn't to help you improve or to provide a valid critique. It's simply about stirring up an emotional reaction, causing tension, and making themselves feel superior in the moment. At first, it can be incredibly tempting to engage with them, to defend yourself, to explain your side of the story, and to assert your position. You want to stand tall, to prove that you're right, to show them that their criticism is unfair and uncalled for. You might feel a sense of injustice, as if you've been wronged and need to right the situation. But after years of reflection and learning, I've come to realize that responding in this way doesn't always bring the peace or resolution that you hope for. It often leads to more frustration and unnecessary confrontation, leaving you emotionally exhausted. The truth is, sometimes the best response to unnecessary criticism is no response at all. It can be hard to swallow your pride, to resist the urge to fight back, and to choose silence in the face of unprovoked judgment. But I've learned time and again that pretending not to understand their criticism or simply letting it go unaddressed can be far more powerful than trying to explain or defend yourself. It's not about being weak or passive. It's about making a deliberate choice to prioritize your emotional well-being over the need to prove something to someone who isn't open to hearing you in the first place. By choosing not to engage in the drama, you're essentially disarming the situation. When you don't react to their attempts at provocation, you rob them of the satisfaction they were seeking. You also save yourself from the emotional toll that comes with the stress of confrontation. Over time, I've come to see that these moments are opportunities for self-discipline and growth. Instead of reacting impulsively, I've learned the importance of taking a step back, reflecting on the situation, and deciding whether it's worth investing my time and energy into. More often than not, it isn't. There's a certain strength that comes from walking away from these situations with grace, not because you're ignoring the criticism, but because you've realized that your peace of mind is worth more than engaging with negativity. It's about recognizing that their opinion of you doesn't define you and that no matter how hard they try, they can't shake your sense of self-worth. When you refuse to take the bait, you preserve your energy, your focus, and your sense of inner peace. You teach yourself how to remain grounded, even when the world around you feels chaotic. It's not always easy, especially when the criticism feels personal or when the person attacking you is someone you care about. But when you choose to rise above the situation, you not only protect your emotional health, but you also become more resilient. You learn to keep your cool, to stay focused on what truly matters, and to navigate the storm without letting it break you down. In the end, the most powerful thing you can do is choose not to let the negativity of others affect your inner peace. It's about having the wisdom to know when to respond and when to let things go, and the courage to walk away from drama that doesn't serve you. By doing so, you maintain your dignity, your sense of self, and your ability to move through the world with grace and confidence. You realize that, in the grand scheme of things, their criticism doesn't define you, and you're better off investing your energy into things and people that bring you peace, joy, and growth. 6. Letting go of the need to prove yourself. As you grow older, a profound sense of peace often emerges, and one of the most liberating realizations is the freedom that comes with no longer feeling the need to prove yourself to anyone. When we are younger, there's an almost insatiable urge to showcase our intelligence, achievements, and capabilities. It's as though we must validate our worth constantly, almost as if we need to convince the world of our value. But as time passes, this need dissipates, and we begin to see that the pursuit of external validation only creates an endless cycle of expectations that we can never fully satisfy. When you constantly demonstrate your abilities, whether in work or life, people start to expect more from you, sometimes far more than is fair or even possible. And the sad truth is, the more you give, the more others may take, often without appreciation or acknowledgement. It's a harsh reality that many only truly recognize when they look back at their lives and realize how much of themselves they gave away, all in the name of proving something that never truly needed to be proven in the first place. By embracing the idea of being enough just as you are, you reclaim your personal space. It's like lifting an invisible weight off your shoulders. Sometimes, pretending to be less competent than you are can create the breathing room you need to step away from the relentless pressure of other people's expectations. This doesn't mean deceiving others, but rather choosing to live in a way that allows you to savor the beauty of life without the incessant need to prove your worth to the world. There is immense power in simply being content with who you are, without the need to be constantly seen as exceptional. The joy that comes with it is unparalleled. It's a joy that allows you to rest, to feel your soul breathe freely, and to be present in the quiet moments without the crushing weight of comparison. For the first time, you can enjoy life just for the sake of living it, not because you've ticked every box or lived up to anyone else's expectations. And in that simplicity, in that quiet wisdom, you discover a peace that's worth far more than any accolades or achievements could ever give you. 7. Preserving your peace. As we grow older, one of the most profound gifts we can cherish is the ability to choose peace over conflict. It's not just a fleeting luxury, but a wisdom that comes from years of living, learning, and experiencing life in all its complexities. There's something undeniably beautiful about reaching a stage in life where we no longer feel compelled to engage in every argument or debate that comes our way. For so long, many of us spend our younger years consumed by the desire to be heard, to prove ourselves, to win. But as time passes, we come to realize that these things, these fleeting victories, mean very little in the grand scheme of things. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Throughout my own life, I've encountered countless moments where the temptation to react, to defend myself, or to engage in conflict felt overwhelmingly strong. The world around us often seems to thrive on chaos, arguments at the dinner table, disagreements with friends, debates that spiral out of control. It's easy to get caught in the whirlwind of these emotions, and at times, it feels like everything requires our attention, every slight demands a response. But I've come to understand something incredibly liberating. Peace is not something that is simply handed to us, but something we must actively choose. And this choice isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about protecting our emotional well-being. In my experience, I've learned that disengaging from unnecessary drama is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful act of self-preservation. We can't control the world around us, and we certainly can't control other people's behavior, but what we can control is how we react. The key is learning when to step back, to breathe, and to realize that not every provocation requires a response. There's a beautiful freedom in letting go of the need to engage in every conflict. It's like a heavy weight lifts from your shoulders when you choose to rise above the noise. In the past, I would have immediately reacted to something that upset me, feeling a rush of anger or frustration, ready to defend myself at any cost. But now, I realize that my peace is so much more valuable than winning an argument. The serenity that comes with choosing not to engage is far more rewarding than any momentary satisfaction from being right. When we refuse to get caught up in the distractions of the world, we protect our emotional energy and reserve it for what truly matters. We give ourselves the gift of focus. Focus on our loved ones, our passions, and the things that truly bring us joy and fulfillment. By not reacting to every irritation, we free up our hearts to experience the beauty of life more fully. I can honestly say that it feels like a deep breath after years of holding it in, a sense of calm that permeates every aspect of life. No longer do I waste time trying to change someone's mind or fighting for validation. There's a quiet confidence in knowing that our inner peace is worth far more than anything that might disturb it. This is a lesson that, at times, has come through hardship, through arguments, misunderstandings, and moments of emotional overwhelm. But with each lesson, I've come to value my peace even more deeply. I've learned that peace doesn't come from silencing the world around us. It comes from silencing the noise within ourselves. It's about choosing to listen to our inner voice, the one that tells us what truly matters, and shutting out the distractions that try to pull us in every direction. It's a decision we make every single day. When we allow ourselves to remain calm in the face of provocation, we are affirming that our emotional health is sacred. It's a radical act of self-care to refuse to let the chaos around us consume us. Our emotions are ours to protect, and we have the power to decide where to invest them. By doing so, we preserve not just our peace, but our joy, our energy, and our vitality. There's an undeniable strength in the quiet moments of stillness. In a world that constantly demands more from us, choosing peace is one of the most empowering decisions we can make. It's not just about avoiding conflict, it's about creating a life filled with tranquility and purpose. And as we grow older, this becomes one of the most treasured gifts we have, the wisdom to let go of what no longer serves us, to release the need for validation, and to embrace a life filled with the serenity we deserve. Peace becomes not just a choice, but a way of life. And in choosing it, we create a sanctuary within ourselves that no external force can disrupt. As we reflect on the wisdom that comes with age, it's clear that the ability to preserve our peace is one of the most powerful gifts we can give ourselves. The freedom to disengage from unnecessary conflict, to choose emotional balance over the chaos of the world around us, is a true act of self-care and wisdom. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from today's video? Is there a new insight or approach that you'll be bringing into your life? Please share one thing you've learned and we'll practice moving forward in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your thoughts in the comments, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content that will help you live a peaceful, fulfilling life. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to hearing how you're choosing peace in your journey.